This guy runs what the DOJ is looking at. If I am Facebook or Amazon, they're looking at each other and like, we're good. They're not focusing on the right thing. When platforms become tech monopolies, the consumer is still generally overall winning. The people and the users that can be taken advantage of are the producers. The answer to the riddle is you need to view it through the lens of the producer. So today I was at the New York Times DealBook Conference. One fellow in particular, this guy here, Makan, he's a Persian guy. I'm part Persian too. And he's the Assistant Attorney General in the Antitrust Division at the U.S. Department of Justice. Basically, if anyone is going to make the argument that big tech platform companies, i.e. monopolies, tech monopolies, modern monopolies is the book, are actually monopolies, it's going to be this guy. So as you can imagine, I was listening quite attentively to what he was saying. And we're going to get to that in a second. What is interesting is the same day that he's up there, this article came out that lawmakers are studying leaked Facebook documents made public today. Basically, what these documents are saying is this. Zuckerberg promised developers that they would be able to operate on a level playing field with Facebook. So this is about all the APIs that Facebook would open up to developers and let them build software on top of those APIs and build functionality so you could log into an app and all these kinds of things. Before quietly removing their access to mission-critical APIs, a plan dubbed, they had a name for it, the plan was called Switcheroo. Yeah, no, it's actually spelled Switcheroo, like you would imagine, like kangaroo, but Switcheroo. Once the company had grown its user base, the documents reveal that then they would pull the Switcheroo and then basically pull out a lot of the meaty API integrations. And so this was a number of years ago. But what this goes back to is the central thesis that we talk a lot about on the show, which is not really talked much about anywhere else, that when platforms become tech monopolies, the consumer is still generally overall winning, like really winning, a lot of winning. The people and the users that can be taken advantage of are the producers, the suppliers. In this case with Facebook, that's the developers. In Amazon's case, it's the third-party sellers. In Google's case, it's websites on Google Search or content creators on YouTube. Absolutely, you're seeing signs that the producers are the ones that can actually be taken advantage of. So, going back to what Makan was talking about, he actually brought up the fact that an Expedia was complaining about having to pay billions of dollars in ads to Google because Google would otherwise cram down Expedia's search results. And in order to remain relevant, they basically had to pay this tax to Google, right? And Google had launched a competitive travel offering, right? Everyone knows that. Unfortunately, I think he's not making this connection. Actually, I'm pretty sure he's not making the connection. They took one question from the audience. That question was from Chris Hughes, the co-founder of Facebook, who is very publicly now called for Facebook to be broken up. I also don't think that that's going to solve or get to the bottom of what the real problems are. And so what I wanted to ask Makan was, would you consider producers, that could be a seller on Amazon, a website on Google, etc., would you consider producers to be a customer? Right? If we look at who is paying Amazon, actually, it's the seller that's paying Amazon. The seller's paying 10 to 20% of the product that's purchased on Amazon. But Amazon isn't actually making money off of the sale from the consumer. They're actually making money off of the seller, and they get a take rate, and they charge the sellers storage fees and fulfillment fees and these kinds of things. The same thing on YouTube, where the content creators have to pay 45% of the ad revenue generated from ads shown while people are watching the content creator's video to YouTube. Same thing is basically there on Google search with the Expedia example where Google crams down your search results, launches its own competitive product. In order for you to stay relevant, you have to, guess what? Pay Google a bunch of money in ads. So Andrew Sorkin, who hosts this conference, all of these people, right? Andrew, Chris, Makan, they kept on saying, we need to view this through a different lens. The problem was, the answer to the riddle is you need to view it through the lens of the producer. And when you can associate the producer to be a customer, now all of the antitrust precedent for the past 50 plus years fits directly into place. And what antitrust precedent looks at is you are a monopoly if you have an outsized amount of market share. So now if you look at, hey, I'm a third-party seller. What other marketplaces, e-commerce marketplaces, can I go sell products on? Oh, that could be eBay. Depends on what you're selling. You have, Goat and StockX for sneakers. You have Farfetch for luxury goods. The RealReal also for luxury goods. We've crunched those numbers. Amazon has over 70% market share of all of the outlet, right? If I'm a third-party seller, where can I go sell? Walmart too. Amazon has 70% of that market at least. Same thing is true on Google. If you are a website like Expedia, where can you get search traffic from? Google has probably more than 80% market share in that. Same thing on YouTube, right? If you are going to post this, video content, where else are you going to post video content, mid-long form type of video content? It's YouTube. They've got a $20+ billion revenue business in YouTube. So they absolutely have the market share. And then you say, well, are they disadvantaging the customer? And that's where Makan and all of these folks have been, they're looking at the shiny object, and the shiny object is the consumer, and they're looking at the wrong user. You need to look at the seller, the supplier, the producer. Chris Hughes actually used the word producer in his question to Makan, but he didn't zero in on it, and he didn't really call it out and say, let's just go I don't want to say go after them, but let's just look at this. Are producers being disadvantaged by the platform? Can producers be classified as a customer? And does the platform have much more than 50% market share in terms of the available market for where a producer can conduct business? All three of those questions are absolute yeses on every large tech monopoly that's in question in the media. So honestly, that was, it was kind of disheartening. I thought this was the guy. I thought I was going to listen to him today on stage, and or he didn't really get there in the dialogue with Andrew. And I thought, oh, okay, with Chris, okay, this is a lock. Nope, it's not a lock. It's not resonating. This guy runs what the DOJ is looking at. If I am Facebook or Amazon, I guarantee every single one of the general counsels from these companies was watching this thing today. And they're looking at each other and like, we're good. They're not focusing on the right thing. It was very clear. If you actually, and I think the videos are up or will be up soon, and you can watch this stuff. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.